Next on Sisterhood of the Second Act.
Ancestry and genealogy research has become one of the most popular hobbies in the United States. It can be a window into our past for better or worse. Darlene Smithwick helps people uncover clues to their past. She's here to share her experiences and tips. Debbie Custer helps her customers feel better. She is not a healthcare professional, but she has spent years developing CBD products that help with everything from anxiety to pain. Today, she talks with us about how to choose the best CBD products from all the choices lining the shelves. We'll meet these women on this edition of Sisterhood of the Second Act, right after this.
Sisterhood of the Second Act is brought to you by Cabby Fashions take you from the boardroom to the beach. Dress for a garden party or a night on the town. Independent Cabby stylist Darlene Marshall will make sure you look your best no matter what the occasion. She'll bring the store to your home for you and your friends or schedule a private consultation. Call Darlene 540-330-6819, 540-330-6819, or find her on Instagram at Dapper Darling, on Facebook at Darlene Marshall Independent Cabby Stylist. Pat Lucas is committed to providing independent financial advice to individuals, families, and small businesses. Contact Pat at 540-798-8104. 540-798-8104. Securities and investment advisory services are offered solely through Equity Services Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC, 4401 Starkey Road, Roanoke, Virginia 24018, 540-989-4600. Looking for your first home or retirement home? Realtor Monica Nicely can help you find it. Whether you're moving in or out of the Roanoke region, call Monica 540-449-2019, 540-449-2019. Alcova Mortgage Loan Officer Jonathan Sweat helps you seal the deal with a loan to suit your needs with great rates and terms. Call Jonathan 540-314-8843, 540-314-8843.
Alcova Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID number 40508, MLSConsumerAccess.org. Terms and conditions apply. All loans subject to credit approval.
I'm going to be an oak tree.
I think I'll be a dogwood tree.
My kids say they be looking for a thorny tree for me.
With Evergreen, you can be a tree. Our biodegradable urn combines your ashes, natural soil additives, and a native tree of your choice. Be a tree and grow for tomorrow.
I want to be a tree.
Learn more at evergreenmemorialtrust.com.
Now from the Fox Radio Roanoke studio, here's Kathy Heberle.
Welcome to Sisterhood of the Second Act. I'm Kathy Heberle. Ancestry and genealogy research can bring our past to life, but it can also uncover some unsavory items from our family history. Darlene Smithwick recently retired from Roanoke County Library, where she was Public Services Coordinator. She is here today to help us get started in uncovering our lost family history. Thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you, Kathy.
And what is the difference between ancestry and genealogy?
Well, ancestry is your heritage, where you're from.
Oh.
Genealogy is the study of your family history and its evolution.
So it's the process that you are working. Okay. So I think probably I'm curious, what started you on this research quest?
Well, family was always very important to my dad, and he used to talk about family reunions. They sat around, all the old people sat around and talked about family.
Sure.
I wasn't so interested then, but a few years ago, I was at a family reunion and asking my brother some questions, and it's like, oh no, we've become the old people. But some of the stories that my dad planted the seed.
Yes.
His stories started
Sparked a little
some interest.
That sounds right to me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I wanted to find out more.
And sometimes we are older before we take an interest.
Yes.
So
Yes,
that
we are.
makes sense to me. What discoveries about your family have surprised you the most?
Well, I found out that my mother's father, who had disappeared in the 30s, ended up being a groundskeeper for, I think it was Crosley Field, the Cincinnati Reds team.
Oh my
So
goodness.
before he died, he was their groundskeeper. And I have a cousin who does a lot of research. She was also a librarian, so
Yes.
she had traced my father's family way back. And we found out that one of our ancestors was Margaret of Scotland, who was a Queen of Scotland and also a Catholic saint.
Wonderful. Now that would be something everybody would want to know about. Yes. Do you ever get interested in writing about some of these so that at least somebody else will have all your knowledge?
Oh,
Recording a
maybe
little bit?
someday,
Yeah.
especially my mother's still living and she
I think
tells
it's nice.
stories, and I think
Yes.
I need to record these while
That's
can.
a very good idea. I'm just trying to get people thinking about these things because you don't want to wait till everybody's gone to start
Right.
asking questions. We are talking with Darlene Smithwick about ancestry and genealogy research. And how have your discoveries changed your perspective on your life, if they have?
Well, they have, because I am more interested in the history and things that
Yes.
have gone on in the past. And family history is also our country's history.
That's
So,
true.
Finding out about how your ancestors lived, you learn
Where
more
they
about your
lived,
country.
right? Because
Right.
sometimes they traveled and you just think you're from the area, but
That's right, yeah. And the time periods and what was going on. So it's
Sure.
a lot of history there.
Yes. So if others want to go on this journey, how would you recommend that they get started?
I would say the best place to start is with yourself.
Okay.
Just start writing down everything you know about you, your siblings, your parents, your children, and then go from there. So you go to your parents and find all the information. You should find the date and place of birth and parents' names, where they were married, when they were married, names and birth dates of children, and dates and places of death for every person that you research. If you find that, you've
made a good
information.
yes. That gives
Yes.
you a great deal of information. And then, are there classes that will help you develop a family tree and start the research? And how do we find these classes?
There are classes. The library offers several things. So one thing is you can check out books from the library too. That would help you. So if you go to rvl.info, that's our catalog, and just type in genealogy, you're going to find, I think I saw over 2,000 books on genealogy.
Available. Mm-hmm. Now, can you check some of them out, or are they only resources that you have to go there?
They can be checked out.
They can. That would be great. So you can bring it home and do some more work.
Right.
I like that.
Right.
We're talking with, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say also, we have a genealogy club at
Oh.
the South County Library. So
Can anybody join?
anybody can join. It is for newbies, and if you are
People that
a
have been
genealogist who've been
Right.
doing this for years, you can come and share your knowledge and help the new people get started. And it's a way of helping. If you hit a roadblock, someone
Yes.
might have an idea of how to help you with that.
Yes, because somebody's experienced if you're experiencing
Yes.
it, right? The missing piece
That's
or how
right.
to find it. Thank you. We're talking with Darlene Smithwick about ancestry and genealogy research, which is, to me, very interesting. How far can you get with this research without paying money? I think people would like to know, because a lot of times they charge you for things.
You can do a lot of research
On your own?
on your own. As I was saying, you want to talk to your family.
Sure.
So you're getting a lot of research just from your family there. Look for old family Bibles. You're going to find a lot of information there.
Sure.
These are all free resources.
Yes.
The library offers free resources. We do have databases. We have Ancestry.com, Heritage Quest.
Are those free, or are some of those paid?
Those are free through the library. Now
Through the
you can
library.
get your own Ancestry.com.
Okay. But start with the
subscription, but
library, right?
You can use the one in the library. Now with Ancestry, you do have to come in the library and use it.
Okay, that makes sense, but still it's available.
Yes.
Do you have to reserve a time or anything, or can you just come down?
You can just come in and you can either use our computers or bring your own laptop and log
on
into
to it.
the library, and then you can get it that way.
All right, that sounds good. So do you have any other money-saving tips for people that might be on a budget but would still like to get this information?
Like newspapers.
Oh, sure.
Go to newspapers. Those are free. You can find them
Yes.
online. You find a lot of obituaries there, so
Yes.
that will give you information. The Library of Virginia has a lot of
Oh,
genealogy.
yes. Good option there.
Yeah, and you can do it online or make a trip to Richmond. So cost a little bit for the
but
trip.
still, yeah, it
you
might be
know,
a fun trip. Huh?
It would. And also, the City Library has the Virginia Room.
Okay.
And that's a great
Good.
resource.
If you're
for
from this area.
If
yes.
you're from this area.
That makes sense. I'm not, but it would help a lot of locals. Is there help for people whose ancestors don't have a paper trail? Like, say the parents and grandparents are already gone.
There is, if you go on to Ancestry, a lot of times you can find the information there that you're looking for.
Okay.
The State Department of Health in every state, I think,
Okay.
has birth certificates.
Like vital
So-
statistics or something like that they call
Yes.
it? Yes.
So if you know enough information about your grandparents, like where they were from, you can check with them and you might be able to get a birth certificate, and it probably wouldn't cost more than $15 or $20.
So it
for
would be
them,
very
so-
reasonable to help you out. What's the most unusual fact you have heard somebody has uncovered, and why did you think it was so good?
Someone, I was working in South Carolina at the time, and a woman was doing some research, and she found that her ancestor was the last woman to be executed by hanging.
Oh my
And
goodness!
I don't remember whether it was in South Carolina or another
Or
state.
another
but
state,
It was
yeah.
the last one in that state. That
Oh
one
my
always
goodness.
stuck
And
with me.
Yeah, well, and you'd think like things like that might be passed down through families. So, maybe there was a shame or something associated, but the younger people wouldn't feel that. They might kind of take like a, like my uncle was a pirate, who knows, right? It could be, history changes.
That's
and
right.
people look at it differently. So what maybe was, I don't want to say hidden, but kind of obscure, you can bring to light, and it might have a whole different perspective.
Yes. Yeah, and I think just time changes things. That something that happens right now might be a horrible scandal, but 100 years from now, it's
Wouldn't think
interesting
of it.
fact.
It is. Now, I do have one more question for you before we wrap up. What if you can't find something about somebody, and then you find out later that maybe the name had been misspelled? Like I know people coming from Europe sometimes didn't read or write, but I've heard that they would give their name, like say at Ellis Island or somewhere, and people just wrote it down. So are there options if you don't have all the information that you can still kind of get a feel for the history of people? Like, how does that work?
You can. One of the things with the search engine on Ancestry.com
Yes.
is that it will find things that sound alike.
Oh, so that would be very helpful. I didn't know that.
Yes. So in my own family,
Yes.
my mother's last name had a different spelling originally.
But you were
and
still able to find the information.
we were, and it was just a difference. It was anglicized from a German name. So.
That makes so much sense. This has been a lot of fun, very entertaining. I think people, I'm glad you were here. I think you can remind people that they have family history. Don't let it be gone. Do some research and take notes, right? Share it with your family.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and people do like writing books. And I mean, look what Alex Haley did with Roots. you know,
Yes,
and
that was an amazing.
He was just trying to find out about his family.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for coming in today, Darlene.
All right, thank you, Kathy.
It was really a pleasure having you on the show. And we will have Roanoke County Public Library's contact information in our show notes at sisterhoodofthesecondAct.com. When we come back, you can now find CBD everywhere, but not all CBD products are created equally. We'll learn more after the break.
Looking for your first home or retirement home? Realtor Monica Nicely can help you find it. Whether you're moving in or out of the Roanoke region, call Monica 540-449-2019, 540-449-2019. Alcova Mortgage Loan Officer Jonathan Sweat helps you seal the deal with the loan to suit your needs with great rates and terms. Call Jonathan 540-314-8843, 540-314-8843.
Alcova Mortgage, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID number 40508, MLSConsumerAccess.org. Terms and conditions apply. All loans subject to credit approval.
Pat Lucas is committed to providing independent financial advice to help women build wealth and security. Call Pat at 540-798-8104, 540-798-8104. Securities and investment advisory services are offered solely through Equity Services Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC, 4401 Starkey Road, Roanoke, Virginia 24018, 540-989-4600.
I'm going to be an oak tree.
I think I'll be a dogwood tree.
My kids say they be looking for a thorny tree from me.
With Evergreen, you can be a tree. Our biodegradable urn combines your ashes, natural soil additives, and a native tree of your choice. Be a tree and grow for tomorrow.
I want to be a tree.
Learn more at evergreenmemorialtrust.com.
Once again from the Fox Radio Roanoke studio, here's Kathy Heberle.
Welcome back to Sisterhood of the Second Act. I'm Kathy Heberle. Chances are you have heard of CBD and its potential health benefits. It is a hot commodity, and products touting CBD's benefits are cropping up everywhere. So how do you know if you're getting a product that is good for you? Debbie Custer is here to help us weed out products that are not what they say they are. Debbie is the owner of the Hemp Mill in Vinton. She has developed patent-pending products made with CBD. Debbie is here to help us decipher labels and learn the difference between synthetic and naturally derived CBD products. Thank you for being here today, Debbie.
Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
So what is the difference between naturally derived and synthetic CBD?
Well, let's first start with terminology. Cannabis is the plant genus, and hemp and marijuana are both species of that. And within those two categories, you have multiple strains. Cannabidiol, which is the proper chemical compound name for CBD, is found in all cannabis plants. The technical definition between hemp and marijuana is cannabis that has 0.3% tetrahydrocannabinol is considered hemp. So it's 0.3% is hemp. Anything else is considered marijuana. So that's probably the biggest problem people have, is understanding that CBD is found in all cannabis, marijuana, and hemp. Natural means that it is derived from the plant itself. There's many ways to process it from the plant, but it's derived from the plant itself. Synthetic is man-made. And
there's no plant product in it.
There is no plant product in it. Typically, the base product of it is yeast.
Is synthesized CBD natural or synthetic?
Synthesized CBD is synthetic. Yeah, so you're looking at a product, typically, you're looking at a product that has undergone a chemical process in order to be developed. So the reason a lot of people like the synthetic product over the natural product is natural is plant agricultural material. Okay. So it can vary from season to season, area to area.
Crop to crop.
Crop to crop, exactly.
Yes.
It's like corn, grapes, anything else.
Sure.
But man-made or synthetic is developed for a specific use, specifically consistency and high yields. So if somebody's using it in, say, lotions, cosmetics, topicals, that is exactly what you're looking for, something that is consistent all the time with no variation.
Very good. We are talking with Debbie Custer, owner of the Hemp Mill, about how to choose the best CBD product. There are CBD vendors at festivals selling products which we may assume the vendor has made. what questions should we ask CBD vendors to help us ensure that we are getting what it says on the label?
There are questions that you can ask to ensure that the product is produced within regulations. The labeling will vary. The problem is that cannabidiol or CBD is an unstable compound. So it will degrade when exposed to air, when exposed to water. So somebody, when they made it, may have put a certain milligram on the label, and that could have been right the day that it was made, but by the time you buy it at a festival, 6, 8, 9 months later, it's set somewhere and it has degraded during that time. So that's one of the problems. Packaging, how it's stored, that's another one of the problems. I would ask somebody, was that product produced, if you're at a festival in Virginia, under VDACS, the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, has regulations regarding hemp extracts, how they're produced, products that contain CBD. So I would ask them if it was produced under those regulations. USDA also for growing the hemp. Did they grow it? Do they know the grower? Is the grower registered? There are a lot of questions to ask. Yeah.
Thank you. That helps educate us. But now let's throw Delta 8 into the mix. What is it and how is it used?
Delta 8 is a naturally occurring chemically compound found in cannabis. The problem is there's not enough of it to be of any use to anyone. So it does have some positive attributes. So over the last few years, a lot of the hemp growers have had a lot of product. There's a glut of hemp in the market. And so they use that to make CBD, and then CBD can be synthesized into a synthetic Delta 8. And that's what has happened. And it has flooded the market. We don't, many times you don't know where it's come from. You don't know how it was manufactured. You don't know how the Delta 8 was synthesized from the CBD. So it truly is a situation of not enough research, not enough knowledge out there. People are just basically doing things like they would do in a chemistry lab. And because they
sort of
need
experiment.
It's a sort of experiment. They need, it's a revenue stream. And a lot of money is being made off of these products that you don't know how they were produced or how the key ingredient came to be. There are studies starting on Delta 8 in small doses, the naturally occurring product. But what you're getting at the convenience store is not naturally occurring.
So they don't even have a way to keep that consistent or anything. The FDA has warned that Delta 8 can have adverse effects. Can you tell us what they are?
So the FDA has also said sugar can have adverse effects.
Yes.
So let's be, again, the research isn't there. And it's also in the quantity. So it's how it's produced, the ingredients that it's partnered with, and what the quantity is. So the positive effects of Delta 8 are that it has a euphoric element to it, not unlike THC, which is also Delta 9, the key component in marijuana. It also can help with pain, sleep deprivation, a lot of the same things that CBD does because it is derived from CBD. The downside to it is if you take a lot of anything and you put it with ingredients that you don't know where they came from, say a GMO flour and processed sugar, and you make a product out of it, that product's not going to be good for you. And so people are getting sick off of products that contain Delta 8, but it's because all of it is acclimated together to increase the possibility of you getting sick by eating it, because we don't know what those limits are on Delta 8. The research isn't there.
I understand. Thank you for sharing that. We are talking with Debbie Custer, owner of the Hemp Mill, about how to choose the best CBD products. Tell us, is Delta 8 listed on the label as Delta 8? And if not, how can we tell if a gummy, for instance, has Delta 8?
It should be listed on the label.
It should be.
As such, just like the amount of Delta 8 should be listed on there, the amount of Delta of THC should be listed, or CBD, or any of the other chemical compounds. Typically it's not.
Okay.
It'll just say Delta 8 gummy. Delta 8 is a buzzword right now, just like CBD is a buzzword. And so people are looking for it. You don't know. You don't know any of the compounds. I had a woman one time bring to me a gummy that she said really worked. She couldn't find it anymore. And I looked at the ingredients, and it was melatonin and dextromethorphan. And I was like, okay, this is why
like
you're
cough
sleeping.
medicine.
Well, it's an allergy drug.
Yes.
So it was not a product that was the intent, obviously, was to help her sleep, but it was being sold as something else. I see. So, and that is because you're in an unregulated Wild
Right.
West industry, that's what happens.
Buyers beware.
Buyers
That's all
beware.
that comes
Yes,
up to mind.
it sure is.
So, as we mentioned in the introduction, you own the Hemp Mill in Vinton, Virginia. Tell us, what products do you sell?
I grow the hemp that is in the products that are sold at the Hemp Mill.
Okay.
It is a small batch European solventless method that I was taught in Greece. And I do not sell anyone else's products there. I don't know. Somebody can tell me how they grow them. They can tell me how they make it. I don't know for sure that is how they do it. Sure. I'm very cautious with what my particular customers utilize. We have ingestible oils that will help with inflammation, sleep, anxiety, other issues that are caused by inflammation. We have pet products that help pets to enjoy their particularly end of life time period, or as a puppy. We have food products. That's our main focus, is nutrition, to educate people on the amazing nutritional qualities that are found in the cannabis plant.
And how about a delicious coffee?
And we have a delicious coffee.
So what impact have you seen CBD have on your customers?
Predominantly, it has definitely improved their quality of life. If you can bring the inflammation down.
Right.
And inflammation causes so many things: skin issues, stomach, digestive issues, stress, anxiety, sleep. If you bring that down, it allows your body to heal itself. And so that is probably, I've seen people walk in the door using walkers.
Yes.
And 6 months later, they're walking on their own. They don't have the brain fog that they had from whatever medication they were on. And people have been able to titrate off of high blood pressure medicine, high cholesterol medicine, medicines that are prescribed like Lexapro for anxiety. That to me is a win-win all the way around.
I totally agree.
The benefits are overwhelming of doing what your body likes. Your body has an endocannabinoid system. We are giving it cannabinoids through the hemp products that we develop, and it brings it into balance, which gives you a better quality of life.
And I want to promote a testimonial for you, because I have been on your products for a couple years, and my arthritis, I can't say it's completely gone, but it is so much better. And also my sleeping is better. And I've struggled with those both for a very long time.
Thank you.
We will have Debbie's contact information in the show notes on sisterhoodofthesecondAct.com. Debbie, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. We'll be back to wrap up the show after this.
Kathy's wardrobe provided by Cabby stylist Darlene Marshall. See the styles in our show notes at sisterhoodofthesecondAct.com.
I want to thank Darlene Smithwick and Debbie Custer for joining us today. Darlene taught us how we can learn more about our own ancestors, and Debbie taught us how to choose the right CBD oil for our needs. I'm Kathy Heberle. Join us again next week for another edition of Sisterhood of the Second Act.